Welcome, witches and wizards, to a question older than Fawkes himself. Can you kill a phoenix? Today we unravel the magical biology, ancient symbolism, and deep enchantment surrounding the most enigmatic of all magical beasts. Prepare for an exploration that transcends spellwork, challenges dark intentions, and brushes the very fabric of immortality. Whether you're a Dumbledore devotee or a curious Ravenclaw cracking open fantastic beasts, this is a tale that promises to ignite your mind as surely as a phoenix ignites into flame. The phoenix is not merely a bird, classified by the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. It shares that rating with the likes of dragons and sphinxes, but for reasons less explosive and more mysterious. In Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Newt Scamander writes that the phoenix is capable of immense loyalty, regenerates in fire, and whose tears can heal even mortal wounds. Yet there's a vital nuance here. The phoenix doesn't simply survive death, it transcends it. When a phoenix senses its end, it doesn't resist. It embraces the flame, crumbling into ash in what appears to be death, only to be reborn from the embers moments later. This isn't mere resistance to damage, it's cyclical immortality, baked into its very nature. Killing a phoenix isn't just difficult, it contradicts its magical essence. There's never been a recorded successful attempt to permanently kill a phoenix, not even by dark wizards, not even by Voldemort, who considered death not just a fear but an adversary to conquer. That he never pursued phoenixes for Horcrux making or one-core harvesting is telling. Why? Because phoenixes don't die the way other creatures do. They don't yield a corpse, a soul fragment, or even a magical trace vulnerable to necromancy. The dark arts require permanence in death, a final breath, a still heart, a soul unanchored. But a phoenix doesn't die, it resets. It leaves behind ash that's not a remnant, but a womb. Now imagine this, a wizard, perhaps drunk on power or desperation, casting a killing curse upon a phoenix. Avada Kedavra flashes green, but the phoenix ignites mid-spell, consumed by fire of its own making before death can claim it. Would the curse even land? Magic has rules, but those rules have exceptions, and phoenixes may be one. They do not fall limp, they do not linger between life and death. They burn brightly, then begin again. Even the Elder Wand, loyal only to mastery and force, contains within it the feather of a phoenix. Not a dragon, not a thestral. That core symbolizes resurrection, not subjugation. So if you can't kill a phoenix in the conventional sense, what can you do? What happens if you try? In the next segment, we'll explore what legends, dark magic, and ancient wizarding texts say about attempting to interfere with a phoenix's cycle, and whether any punishment is woven into the very magic that guards its rebirth. The consequences might be more than just failure, they might be cosmic. To attempt the destruction of a phoenix is to wage war against nature's own answer to death. These are not mere birds of flame, but ancient magical entities, whose presence is often tied to moments of transformation and prophecy. In the eastern reaches of the magical world, phoenixes are revered as celestial creatures, harbingers of renewal, their appearances often coinciding with the fall of dark regimes or the birth of powerful magic. Wizards who revere the phoenix understand something deeper. Its death is not a tragedy, it is a rite. Any attempt to prevent, disrupt, or alter that cycle would be more than futile. It would be sacrilege. According to rare entries in the Department of Mysteries, rumored to be penned by unspeakables who studied the limits of magical death, there is speculation that phoenixes are tied to elemental magic at a foundational level. Fire, in wizarding theory, is not simply destructive. It is purifying, illuminating, and cyclical. The flame that consumes the phoenix is not cast by wand or will, it is born of its being. This renders it untouchable by conventional magic. Even fiendfire, which consumes almost anything in its cursed path, is said to falter when near a phoenix's ash pile. Some believe this is not resistance, but reverence, magic recognizing a higher order within itself. But what of dark witches and wizards who have tried? There are whispered tales in the hidden corridors of Nocturne Alley, of hexers who attempted to trap phoenixes mid-rebirth, hoping to freeze them in their vulnerable transition. All ended in disaster. One tale speaks of a warlock named Cirrus Vane, who tried to cage the ashes of a phoenix in a time-stopping charm. What remained of him was discovered days later, burned into the walls, eyes turned to ash, and his wand melted at his feet. Some say the magic of the phoenix turned upon him, not in vengeance, but in course correction. The universe will not tolerate stagnation where rebirth is fated. It is believed by some scholars that phoenixes are protected by old magic, deep, unspoken spells layered into the world at its founding, similar to the ancient enchantments guarding places like Azkaban or the Chamber of Secrets. This kind of magic cannot be undone, counterspelled, or reasoned with. It simply is. Hermione Granger once theorized, based on translated rune scrolls from Beedle the Bard's private collection, that phoenixes may serve as living links between the mortal and magical soul, not horcruxes, not in theory, but bridges. When a phoenix dies and is reborn, it renews more than itself. It restores balance. Even the Deathly Hallows, a set of objects explicitly crafted to master death, avoid any mention of phoenixes. The Resurrection Stone calls back shades, the Elder Wand destroys, the Cloak of Invisibility shields one from mortal peril. Yet not one legend claims control over phoenix kind. In fact, it's Dumbledore, wielder of the Elder Wand and guardian of secrets, who keeps Fawkes by his side, not as a familiar, but as a companion, a symbol, perhaps even a reminder that not all forms of power are meant to be wielded. In the next segment, we will explore a haunting question. If a phoenix cannot be killed, what role does it play in the great magical equation of life and death? Could a phoenix reborn endlessly outlive the wizarding world itself? Or are there deeper truths still veiled in ash and fire? To understand the true power of the phoenix, we must go beyond the question of how or whether it can be killed and instead ask what its endless rebirth means. The phoenix, by its very nature, stands in stark contrast to everything the dark arts seek to achieve. Where a horcrux cleaves a soul in fear of death, the phoenix embraces it. Where in fairy are mockeries of life twisted by necromancy, the phoenix rises in luminous renewal. In this way, the bird is not just magical, it is philosophical. It is death with dignity and life with purpose. In Albus Dumbledore's final moments, it was Fawkes who sang over the castle. A lament, yes, but also an affirmation. His cry was no ordinary song. As Dumbledore once explained to Harry, Phoenix song carries strength and courage into hearts where it's most needed. This implies an innate magic, possibly wandless and ancient, that responds to human emotion and moral need. The phoenix is not loyal to blood, nor to house, nor to power. It is loyal to the worthy, and perhaps that is its protection. Not immunity from death by resistance, but invincibility by virtue. To strike a phoenix may be to declare oneself unworthy of the magic that sustains it. Some believe phoenixes are older than the schools of magic themselves. Indeed, Ilvermorny, Mahotokoro, and Castelabruxo each have phoenix imagery in their local mythologies, despite being founded oceans apart. It's not unreasonable to imagine that phoenixes witnessed the founding of Hogwarts, and may even predate Merlin. In fact, Fawkes is rumoured to have served more than one great wizard before Dumbledore, possibly even aiding the founders themselves in ways lost to time. If true, then Fawkes and others of his kind may possess memories, not merely instincts. They are witnesses to history, reincarnated again and again, shaped by ages but unbroken by them. But here's the chilling twist. Immortality, even in cycles, does not mean safety. What happens if the world changes so completely that rebirth becomes impossible? If the conditions for renewal, fire, safety, ash, time, are removed? In theory, a phoenix could be cast into eternal sleep, trapped mid-rebirth. Some scholars speculate this may be the cruelest possible fate for such a creature. A stasis, not death, but no longer life. A severing of its function, not by spellwork, but by imbalance. Should the magical world ever fall into total darkness, where no worthy soul remains to call forth its song, the phoenix may not die, but it may cease. Still, these are speculations whispered in the deepest vaults of magical theory. What remains irrefutable is that phoenixes represent continuity, not just of life, but of moral memory. They do not forget. And perhaps, if they cannot be killed, It is because the magic they embody cannot die while goodness still exists to deserve it. They are not here to be mastered or studied. They are here to remind, and that, in the end, may be the greatest reason they endure. Coming up next, we'll trace Fawkes' appearances through Harry Potter's journey and how each moment with him signals far more than convenience. It reflects pivotal shifts in magical fate. In each encounter, the Phoenix is no mere bird. It's a catalyst, a guardian, and maybe, just maybe, a key to the one kind of immortality Voldemort never understood. Fawkes does not speak. He doesn't duel. He doesn't command armies or teach spells. And yet, the moments in which he appears are among the most spiritually charged in the entire series. His first major intervention comes in the Chamber of Secrets, when Harry faces the basilisk alone. But he doesn't truly face it alone, does he? Dumbledore sends help, not in the form of auras or a squad of professors, but Fawkes. The Phoenix flies into the heart of danger carrying two things, the Sorting Hat and his own tears. In the climax of this confrontation, Fawkes blinds the basilisk, delivers Gryffindor's sword and heals Harry's venomous wound. These are not random acts, they are thematic. They represent vision against blindness, courage born of legacy, and redemption through sacrifice. Fawkes is the magic of Hogwarts made manifest. But there is something deeper here. Fawkes is not summoned by wand or word, he responds to loyalty. When Harry demonstrates unwavering faith in Dumbledore, Fawkes arrives. This suggests that the Phoenix is attuned not to action but to intention. In the language of the magical world, that makes him a moral compass. Not passive, not bound to orders, but responsive to the invisible threads that connect worthy hearts. This quality renders him more than a magical creature. He becomes a judge, an agent of fate. In the Order of the Phoenix, Fawkes once again demonstrates his ethereal nature. When Dumbledore is cornered by the Ministry and makes his legendary escape, it is Fawkes who carries him into the flames. Not as a steed, but as an exit, a statement, a creature so entwined with the headmaster's identity that he is the very means of retreat. Later, in the Department of Mysteries, when Harry and his friends are ambushed by Death Eaters and Dumbledore arrives to defend them, it is Fawkes who intercepts a killing curse meant for the headmaster. And what happens? He bursts into flame, only to be reborn again, a creature that absorbs death, only to erase it. What other magical being has ever demonstrated such unflinching defiance of mortality? None. And then there is the final moment, after Dumbledore's death atop the astronomy tower in the Half-Blood Prince. Fawkes sings. That's all. He does not strike, he does not flee. He sings a lament that cuts through the castle like a blade of grief. And that song, according to J.K. Rowling's own lore, brings strength to the broken-hearted and courage to those who must carry on. He disappears after that, not because he is defeated, but because the song is his final gift. He has no place in the war that follows. He came for the soul, not the battle. And in that silence, we feel the weight of everything he represented. Each of these appearances marks a turning point, not just in plot, but in the spiritual fabric of the story. The Phoenix is not only a creature of rebirth, it is a messenger. And in that role, Fawkes reminds us that the most powerful magic is not found in incantations, but in choice, in loyalty, in love, and in letting go. The very virtues that Voldemort rejected in his pursuit of immortality. At its heart, the tale of the Phoenix is not about invincibility, it is about endurance. Time and again throughout the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling confronts her characters and her readers with the fear of endings, the loss of parents, the fall of mentors, the looming spectre of war and death. Voldemort, obsessed with avoiding these inevitabilities, cleaves his soul into pieces, murders without remorse, and seeks mastery over death itself. And yet, it is not he who rises eternal, it is the Phoenix. The irony could not be more profound. Voldemort views death as an enemy, but the Phoenix accepts it as a process, not an end, but a transformation. Every death the Phoenix endures is a prelude to resurrection, and in that rebirth there is no cruelty, no degradation, no twisted remnants of what once was, only renewal, whole, pure, blazing with purpose. In contrast, Voldemort's existence is a decaying echo, a slow withering of all that makes one human. The Phoenix burns. Voldemort rots. This isn't just allegory, It's Rowling's answer to the moral question at the center of her universe. What does it mean to conquer death? Not to dominate it, not to hide from it, but to accept it, rise from it, and carry on with courage. That's why Harry, who walks willingly into death in the Forbidden Forest, emerges reborn, not magically immortal, but complete. He embodies the Phoenix's lesson. As Dumbledore says, "Do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living, and above all, those who live without love." Even in the earliest books, Rowling planted this theme. In The Philosopher's Stone, Dumbledore tells Harry that, to the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. This isn't just philosophical musing, it is Phoenix logic. In this world, those who fear death are undone by it. Those who accept it may transcend it. The Phoenix, then, becomes more than a creature of flame. It becomes the soul of the story, an emblem of the very magic Voldemort could never touch. So, can you kill a Phoenix? No, not in the way one kills a beast or even a man. The Phoenix will die, yes, but it will rise again, because that is its nature. And any force that tries to interfere with that cycle risks becoming the very thing the Phoenix resists. Stagnation, darkness, unending fear. The world will change, people will fall. But so long as hope burns, the Phoenix will rise, again and again, until the end of all things. And perhaps that is the Phoenix's final lesson to us all, that we too may fall. But we are never beyond rising, so long as we choose to, so long as we remember who we are, so long as we keep the flame. Thank you for stepping through the ashes with me. If this tale stirred something in you, share it, carry it, let it sing in your bones like the cry of forks in the night. Until next time, may your magic never fade.